I think we're going through a big fundamental change in how we tackle innovation, and in particular, how innovation takes into account a lot of different stakeholders that maybe it didn't before. And I'm talking about all the communities that surround companies. It's not just anymore about customer-facing innovation, but it's really how can we involve all the stakeholders. And I think innovation in the space of circularity is a really good example of that. Here in China, we see incredible speed, incredible iteration when it comes to driving change, when it comes to tackling problems once they've been identified.
António, esta questão sobre conciliar plástico com a sustentabilidade também tem aqui alguns pequenos mitos à volta, de certa forma.
A questão não é diabolizar um material, é trabalhar em profundidade, é uma questão de gestão do material. Existem coisas tão extraordinárias como análises de ciclo de vida que dizem que um saco de plástico de um supermercado, em certos casos, obviamente, não estamos depende um pouco dos itens que forem, mas comparando com um saco de papel, se calhar chegamos à conclusão que o saco de plástico é mais sustentável. E sabe porquê? Porque o saco de plástico, se calhar, tem um conteúdo de plástico e um peso específico para aí de 1/4. E, portanto, as questões são muito mais complexas do que estarmos a dizer este é mau, este é bom.
I think around 10 years ago, the trend in fashion industry is auditing. So basically the brands, international brands, are playing the role of policemen, more or less, and go around in each of the factories and make compliance level of rules and basically saying you need to do this. And then they have a checklist of check. And after 10 to 15 years, the result is limited. And they did improve, but they did not improve to the level that the brands wanted them to improve. Therefore, the, I would say, advanced or piloting brands are trying another approach now, which is to guide and or help the suppliers and also the manufacturers to embrace sustainability into their own operations. Because what we see is after first tier supplier, which is the garment maker, has made some progress themselves, and after they engage it in themselves, in their own operations, they increase profitability and increase and brought innovation. And then we start to see the ripple effect that can push back to the second and third tier suppliers. This should be the ultimate goal, because after all, sustainability is something that everyone needs to embrace in their own business, because it's a way to actually have higher profitability while have less environmental and social negative impact. Big organization that I have worked with in China and also in Asia is that we are used to have a top-down approach, pretty much standalone. And now we see, in terms of sustainability initiatives, it's top-down plus bottom-up. And which, the way I see it, is really the right way to go. Because when we talk about innovations, especially first you need to actually identify the problems. Quite often, the real problems are it's the floor people who knows more about the problem, who knows more about the cause of the problem, who certainly knows more how to resolve it.
Understanding how, let's say, an Andean community of 7,000 people is dependent on a value chain that stretches all the way to China, and then having a discussion on what can we localize and how, I think those are the questions that are really interesting to answer, and that's something I'm going to be working on for the next decade. Key 3 things that I would recommend is, first of all, make the room in the community for experiments that have a chance of failing, and celebrate that they might fail. Second of all, try to iterate as quickly as possible, taking into account lots of different stakeholders and goals, not just a narrow set of stakeholders and goals. And third, when you work with communities, work with the parts of the community that are learning the fastest, not necessarily the ones that are the most open to change, but the ones that are learning the fastest. In a community like a city or a state, I would say that's probably younger communities, children, high school students. Those are the communities to tackle with these approaches because they're much more ready to be engaged. The biggest challenge, in my opinion, is to get people to get team members and parts of the organization to understand what it means for them, right? What does circularity and a circular vision for plastics mean for the sales guy who's going out selling to existing customers and new customers? And then I think once you can have that conversation and once you can understand what are the concerns, what are the misunderstandings, and then let them translate it into what it means for them, that's when you can have real breakthroughs.
Okay, the way we see it is for any change in a business or any organization, in terms of transformation, you need to understand there is efficiency and there is also effectiveness. So for us, sustainability itself and our framework tackle the problem or the issue of effectiveness, and exponential framework and technology resolve the problem or the issue of efficiency. You cannot get the sequence wrong, because if you get the efficiency high first and without knowing that this is the right way, then you're going to be more wrong and faster, right? So we don't really want that. But I'm having a good feeling about the workshop in Portugal in October. And I also hope that in terms of transformation, no matter it's sustainability or digital or exponential or all of them, that Portugal can even have more leaps compared to China.